Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Go From Big Data to Little Data, Providing Actionable Insights Across Your Organization. My name is Scott Tabak, and I am the Vice President of Business Development at Highland Solutions. Highland Solutions is an enterprise business and technology solutions consulting firm specializing in cloud-based application development and implementation. At the end of the presentation, I'll talk to you about how you can engage us in your project. So now let me introduce you to our speakers today. We have an excellent presentation planned today centered on two CRM value-added tools that can help your sales and marketing teams target more ready-to-buy customers. D&B for Sugar and Sugar Analytics powered by IBM Cognos. I'd like to welcome our guest presenters, Ginger Tully, Senior Director of Marketing for the Global Partner Solutions Group, and at Dun & Bradstreet, and Lawrence Leon, Senior Director of IBM Alliances at Sugar CRM. They will demonstrate how to create actionable insights from prospecting to reporting, fueling success throughout your organization. Next slide, please. During today's presentation, Ginger and Lawrence will walk through a real-life, user-centered scenario on how their respective tools allow sales and marketing to work as a coordinated team throughout the sales process using technology. They will discuss a fictitious company, Squeaky Green Clean, and walk you through the day in the life of driving new business by utilizing D&B for Sugar and Sugar Analytics that will help the sales and marketing team focus on the ideal prospect. Before I dive into the presentation, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie for a quick poll. Stephanie?
Good morning. Our first poll question is, what is the current CRM landscape within your organization? And on your screen, you should see some selections. So go ahead and please choose from the answers displayed on your screen. We'll give everyone another minute to make a selection. Great. Thank you, everyone, for your input. And now we will go back to Scott.
Yes, thanks, everyone, for taking some time to answer our poll. So let's start out here. I'm going to set the table for today's discussion by providing you with a comparison of a traditional sales model, which we call Sales 1.0, versus a newer take on selling, Sales 2.0. Simply put, Sales 2.0 combines sales with the use of technology to aid in the process of identifying and closing ready-to-buy customers. These are technologies that are incorporated into the sales process that go beyond CRM, such as social media, news feeds like the one we will talk today about, Dun & Bradstreet, business analytics that will help you target ready-to-buy leads, and many more. As you will see, this is a fairly simple graph depicting time and effort on the vertical axis and a simple sales process on the horizontal. In traditional sales, Sales 1.0, there is little time and effort spent on preparing and prospecting. Perhaps you bought a list or collected names from an industry conference where you had a booth. These scenarios set up a smile and dial cold call campaign whereby you know very little about who you are calling upon. The names you've gathered represent cold calls where little, if anything, occurred to trigger your call. The names were simply on a list. As you can see, the non-strategic tactic of cold calling a prospect leads to a longer period of time spent progressing and closing the deal. The sales cycle is much longer and includes many dials. In essence, you are trying to find a needle in a haystack with little or nothing to go on that will give you buying signals prior to a call. Now let's shift our focus to Sales 2.0, incorporating technologies into your sales process. Everything is inverted from Sales 1.0. What does that really mean? It means that a salesperson pays extra effort in spent preparing and prospecting so you can focus on the right prospects at the right time with the right solution. You are essentially in the know when it comes to customers or prospects and reading their news or understanding key personnel hires and changes, acquisitions, cost-cutting initiatives as an example. Up-to-minute news on your customers can deliver to you within the account record of your CRM, which we will show you today. This information will give you triggers or reasons to call as they happen and perhaps provide you a first mover advantage over less enabled competition. You are calling on your customers and prospects with a purpose. They are warm calls. As a result, you are focused on more ready-to-buy customers who have demonstrated a buying signal. As you will see, a result of employing Sales 2.0 strategies, the progression and closure of deals is much quicker. You're not wasting your time sifting through lists and hoping you'll make a connection with someone. You are working with the right prospects from the very get-go. So with this in mind, we hope to shift your mindset on how sales can be more effective by focusing on leveraging two technologies in a day-in-the-life scenario that many of us as sellers and marketers face. Next slide. So today we have two great solutions for you, which will help aid your organization's transition into Sales 2.0, and when combined, can give your organization a distinct advantage. They are D&B for Sugar and Sugar's newest offering, Sugar Analytics, powered by IBM Cognos. These solutions will embed actionable information directly into your CRM. Information such as contacts and titles, latest news, credit ratings, and much, much more. We will also demonstrate that when combined with Sugar Analytics, D&B for Sugar can provide actionable insights allowing sales to make even better decisions on who to call as ready-to-buy customers. This is certainly a game changer. All right. So Lawrence and Ginger are going to be talking about a real-life scenario on how sales and marketing can use D&B for Sugar and Sugar Analytics together to give their organizations a leg up on their competition. Our story begins with Squeaky Green Clean Incorporated, an organic cleaning supply company with big plans for Western expansion. Market research has revealed a unique opportunity. Large banks have recently announced their plans to go green in efforts to attract young customers. Squeaky Green Clean is poised to offer their organic cleaning services as part of the overall banking industry initiative. So they begin targeting prospective clients. And let me introduce you to the Squeaky Clean team. The Squeaky Green Clean team is comprised in part of Scott, or myself, and Anna. As CMO, Scott's focused on driving new revenue. He wants to open new markets and target underserved regions, while Anna, a sales rep for the company, spends a lot of time conducting hundreds of customer interactions. Erin, a bank manager, is the ideal campaign target. As a local branch manager, she is tasked with rolling out the Corporate Green Initiative at her location. She prepares to seek out green products and services. So now I'd like to pass it back over to Ginger from Dun & Bradstreet to talk through this scenario in more detail.
Thank you, Scott, and good morning, everyone. Happy to be here to talk about how you all can become more effective in your job. So let's go back to what Scott's plan was. He wanted to investigate the size and opportunity of the banking market in the Western states. And we'll show you how he did that using D&B for Sugar. Also, part of that investigation is to sort of understand how many banking branches there are, as well as how many contacts there are within the banking branches. So we're going to have a look at that. And then ultimately he became convinced of the potential of this market, and so then he goes off to initiate an email campaign. So next slide. First, just a little bit about Dun & Bradstreet. I think a lot of people have heard the name Dun & Bradstreet and probably have some vague idea that it's involved in financial stuff and credit and that sort of thing. But actually, Dun & Bradstreet has a lot of industry information and information that, if at your fingertips, can really help you make business decisions more quickly and act more quickly. So it's a leading source of global commercial information around the world. The company's been around for a long time, as you probably know, actually more than 172 years. I think we just celebrated 173 years. But what we're doing is working with partners like Sugar to provide our data and insight inside applications and workflows so that you don't have to exit Sugar, for example, to go do a Google search. It's right there at your fingertips, and we'll show you how that works. We have a global database at the moment of 235 million businesses and 100 million people contacts, and this is constantly changing, or I should say constantly growing. We have 30,000 sources of information that goes into our database, and literally every day information is updated and augmented. So a word about D&B for Sugar. This, some of you may have heard the announcement at the end of March that D&B had natively integrated our business content into Sugar. And really our goal is to help sales and marketing folks and actually customer support folks as well really just reach their goals more effectively and more quickly. And the way we can help is by providing current, accurate, and verified business data. And that includes, as I mentioned, financial data, but also good industry information, news about an industry and about a company. We have valuable corporate family tree information, which for salespeople especially represents great expansion opportunities. Once you get into one company that is a member of a family, you have a better chance of sort of making inroads into other companies as well. And then finally, we also track social media about companies and industries. Next slide. And as Scott mentioned, the human Scott mentioned, the real Scott mentioned, Scott, the CMO, is aiming to expand from Middle America into the Western region. And so the 5 states we're going to look at are Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Arizona. And that will be important. You'll see in a moment when I show you D&B for Sugar. Next slide, please. So I'll show you how Scott goes about some of his research. You'll see that on the left-hand side here is the CRM, and on the right-hand side is the intelligence panel. And the intelligence panel is where the D&B for Sugar information comes up. And as I say, I will show that to you live, but here's just an example of industry information that is presented. Next slide. You'll also see that Scott, in the course of his research, sees that there are more than 10,000 bank branches and offices, so that looks pretty promising in that region. Next slide. You'll also see that there are a little less than 3,000 contacts that are accessible via D&B for Sugar right inside Sugar. Next slide, please. So again, he's going to investigate the size and opportunity in these states, figure out how many contacts there are, and then initiate the email campaign. So I'm going to now go into Sugar and show you how he did this. Can you all see my screen okay? I'm going to assume yes if I'm not hearing from Stephanie. So what I've done is I've opened up the Wells Fargo record here that is already in Sugar. And I'm going to use this just as an example to show you what's available in D&B for Sugar. So over here we're in the CRM, and over here on the right-hand side we're in the intelligence panel. And that is made up of these little dashlets here. We call them dashlets. And each dashlet contains specific information on specific topics. So I'll walk through each one of those really quickly, and I'm not going to go into great depth in all of them. But in this case, I already have Wells Fargo in my CRM, and when I open it up for the first time, maybe it's been a couple of weeks or a few days, I can look here and see if there's any new information, but it's telling me that everything is up to date. I could get a message that there is some new information, at which point I will just click to have everything update in CRM automatically. But because I've been in this I've already been in this record a number of times. There's nothing new here at the moment. But the update occurs spontaneously, and I don't have to do anything other than push a button to get the records in my CRM to update. And then there's company information down here. This is the premium level of D&B for sugar. We have basic, pro, and premium. Premium gives additional information, a little extra boost, things like longitude, latitude if you want to map anything, but there's very specific information about the company. That I should mention that D&B has actual human beings who create content about the companies and industries. We do not have bots developing this content, and also it's kept very up to date. So I don't think a bot would write, "This stagecoach likely makes a stop near you." Anyway, this is the premium content that we're looking here in terms of company information. And contact information I'll go through later because we're going to look specifically at contacts. News, this does pull news from various sources here. And I'm just going to close this in the interest of time. Good information about competitors to D&B. You often hear about Bank of America and Wells Fargo in the same breath, but other large banks as well. And to get more information about Bank of America, in this case, it's not yet in my CRM, so all I have to do is click on it and import it, proactively import it over into my CRM, and it just automatically populates. Financial information, I will skip over. That's very specific to Wells Fargo Bank. But industry information is actually pretty interesting in this case because Scott is evaluating the Western United States. So let's just have a look at what we have here. And again, this is all curated by humans who keep this information up to date. But just looking at the overview, there's sort of some show more here. The overview there, it's global information and such, but when it comes to the U.S. market, okay, so it says here, the U.S. banking industry includes, let me finish, it includes about 6,000 commercial banks, 1,000 savings banks, and 7,000 credit unions with a combined annual revenue of about $700 billion. So that looks like a pretty big, likely good business to sell into. This also goes into sort of business challenges, both for Wells Fargo and industry-wide. There's some great information here. This has been developed also by humans. Call preparation questions for salespeople, conversation starters on the phone, and that sort of thing. And it really spans a whole number of banking topics. So salespeople, not all of these obviously are going to apply to your particular activity, but there's a wide breadth of questions here that can just sort of help you get conversations started. There's also some forecasting information. For Scott's purposes, he is interested in sort of an industry overview here. You can look at the competitive landscape for banks in general, and it breaks it down by savings institutions, credit unions, and so on. Down a little bit further here are regional and international issues. Good to know if there's anything about the Western United States he needs to know. And then I want to go to the next. Sorry, it's further down here. I missed it. Trends and opportunities. This is actually a very informative section which talks about what's going on in the industry overall. And down a little bit further here in opportunities. So what's interesting here is that banks are looking to expand into non-bank financial services. So you think, insurance over here, insurance, stock brokerage, investment management. So does this represent some new opportunities for squeaky clean green to expand into these new businesses as banks expand into these new businesses? Online mobile banking is, obviously we all know that that is really growing. So does that mean that the market's going to shrink for bank branches? And a countervailing force to that is small banks. So it says here, as large banks have expanded, some small banks have expanded into specialty services, such as neighborhood lending and services for high net worth individuals. So that could be a countervailing force to the mobile banking, mobile and online banking force. So that all is industry information that can really help Scott sort of make his decision. So now I'm going to show you how he does the actual regional research. And what he's going to do is build a list, and he can input criteria such as, I want to look at all by country, United States, Japan, whatever. Clearly here we're just going to limit ourselves to the states. So I'm going to go ahead and input California, Nevada, Arizona. These are the 5 states we're looking for. Washington, Oregon. And it will start building a list here of just all businesses there. So of course we want to narrow things down to industry. And I already know, because I've been doing some research on this industry, that the NAICS code is 52211, which is banking. And so I'm getting more than 10,000 actual accounts, or businesses, I should say, whether they are branch offices or offices, here in this list. So that is looking very promising. And that's all I'm going to do on companies in the Western region. So now, how do we look for contacts? Well, I pre-populated, so here we're going to do, I'll just show you, with contact, well actually, it's people. So we want to look for people, and I'm going to click here and do it by job function. And there's a number of job functions to select from or filter by. Chief of Surgery, Compliance Director, it just goes on and on. There are just a whole number of job titles. And I'm going to put here Branch Manager, our target. So now what I'm filtering are branch managers in these 5 United States. And now remember, we want to put our industry code in, which I already know is 52211. I'll put that in here. And it has build a list of 2,800 contacts. So Scott now has a whole list of contacts. He knows that there are more than 10,000 bank branches and offices, and he has decided that it's worthwhile for him to go ahead and venture into the Western United States. So do you want to go back to the slides there, Scott? I am now going to turn this over to Lawrence Leong, who's going to be talking about sugar analytics.
All right, Ginger, thank you very much. So as Scott said at the beginning, my name is Lawrence Leong, and I'm Senior Director for the IBM Alliance for Sugar CRM. But I'd like to pick up the storyline right where Ginger left off. You'll remember that in our story, Scott from Squeaky Green Clean wanted to target banks, but he also wanted to target banks that had a younger demographic. with the logic being that those younger demographics would be interested in organic cleaning. So what I'm going to show you now is how Scott and his sales rep Anna can apply additional analytics to complement what Ginger has shown from Dun & Bradstreet. In this slide, you're seeing Scott running additional analytics by looking at some demographic data. On the left-hand side, within Scott's sugar window, he can see a breakdown through a pie chart of West Region bank branches showing customer count by age. So he's actually looking at the West Region bank branches, the breakdown between those branches, and the breakdown between those branches by age range. And he's particularly interested in the 18 to 25-year-old demographic shown with the red circle around it. So let's say he drills into that. He wants to see, of all the West Region bank branches, which of those have the most 18 to 25-year-old customers, because those customers might be interested in the fact that the bank is using organic cleaning. So then he can drill into that in the pie chart. He could actually double-click on the pie section and see a list of bank branches ordered by the highest number of customers in that age range, 18 to 25. So that list is on the right-hand side, and as you can see, there's a list of different branches, Amalgamated Bank, San Francisco Marina District being the highest with 382 customers in that age range, 18 to 25, and all the way on down, a number of different branches, all ordered by the number of customers, age range 18 to 25. So that's just a simple example of how Scott can run additional analytics against that list and look at customer demographics. So let's continue our story, and you remember that Ginger was showing you how you could look at branch information and look up things like branch managers from Dun & Bradstreet information. So in our storyline, we'd be able to identify that the branch manager for that particular bank branch that had the highest number of 18 to 25-year-old customers is someone named Aaron Borrell. So Aaron Borrell is now a new lead that comes out of Scott's marketing campaign, but as you all know, leads aren't that useful if they're not properly actioned. So what we're going to do now, on this slide, you're seeing that part of the integration that Sugar provides is the ability to take the lead identified by Scott in marketing and specifically drive that to Anna in sales. Anna, as you might recall, is the squeaky green sales rep whose territory includes this particular bank branch. So Aaron Borrell has been identified as a new lead, but Anna gets a specific alert that shows up in her Sugar window. That could be a mobile or a tablet, where Anna is now specifically alerted to the fact that one of her customers, Aaron Borrell, has been identified as a lead. So Anna, as you will recall, deals with hundreds of customers, and doesn't have an easy way in her head or there's no easy way she can keep track of all those customers in her head or in her mind. So that's where Sugar CRM with its built-in insight is very valuable. If we go to the next slide, we'll see how Anna uses Sugar CRM to help her get ready for her call on Aaron. So this is a view of Anna's Sugar screen. Anna can see all of the relevant information about Aaron. On the top left of this screen, you can see all of the basic information, or what we call in Sugar the business card view. Aaron's name, title, phone number, email address, street address, etc. On the bottom left, you can see an integration with IBM Connections, where one of the things that Sugar does is integrate with collaboration tools, and in this case we're showing an integration to the IBM Connections collaboration tool. So Anna can use Connections, she can use the community aspect of Connections to collaborate with her peers around the Amalgamated Bank account. Maybe she could say, who else has called on Amalgamated Bank and do they have any advice? What other information do other people have that might be useful to Anna? Maybe Anna needs to find a specific expert around a specific esoteric banking issue and can use connections to help do that. And then if you look at the right-hand side of the screen, Ginger mentioned that that is called the intelligence panel, and that is where we can bring in specific insight and analytics like Dun & Bradstreet information, or in this case, like additional analytics. So that pie chart that I'm showing there is a pie chart showing the branch demographics for Aaron's branch. It shows the breakdown of that branch based on the number of customers in each age range. And that, again, is very useful for Anna as she's getting ready to call on Aaron. It's actually good for Anna to know, hey, Aaron, I see that you have a percentage of your customers that's in this younger demographic who, are very interested in organic cleaning. So that helps Anna be more effective as she talks to Aaron and to tailor Anna's approach to Aaron specifically. On the bottom, below that pie chart, you can actually see some metrics in a dashboard type of format. And again, this is additional analytics and insight that's provided by Sugar Analytics powered by Cognos. And in this case, these metrics help Anna kind of manage her own progress and her own pipeline. This tells Anna that things like, on average, Anna's lead close rate per day is 62%. Her average deal size is $2,400 some dollars. It takes her, Anna, 15 days on average to close, and she's 38% of the way to her quota, and she needs 3.7 touches to close. And I want to stress here that those different metrics are not arbitrary numbers that are handed down from management. Those are actual historical averages based on all of Anna's closed deals to date. So again, it's providing insight specifically in the context of Anna's situation where she's about to call on Aaron. She can now know that on average, all of her past deals that have closed have taken 15 days to close and have required between 3 to 4 contacts. So that way, as Anna is getting ready to call on Aaron, she can plan that out and be more prepared for the call on Aaron. So that's an example. All of this is an example of providing analytics embedded in Sugar. And in this particular case, all of these analytics that I'm using have come from something called Sugar Analytics. So let's hear a little bit more about that. If we go to the next slide, I'll just sum up some of what I've been saying. I've been describing the value of analytics in a CRM system. These are some statistics that come from IBM that show that organizations that make extensive use of analytics have higher revenue, higher return on investment, higher earnings, and better competitive advantage. But if we click again, what I want to stress, and I think both Ginger and I in our scenario as well as Scott in his overview have stressed the point that it's not just being able to apply analytics, but it's the ability to apply analytics in context of the CRM system. It's embedding those analytics directly in the CRM system. The quote on the bottom, I think, says it very, very well, which is, it's not just analytics that might be in a separate window, in a separate context, but it's analytics provided as an integral component of CRM and delivered in the context of CRM data. To go back to our storyline, it's Scott, the CMO, getting insight and analytics directly within the context of the tasks that he was performing, such as getting ready to prepare an email marketing list. It's providing analytics for Anna, the sales rep, specifically as she's getting ready to call on her customer, Aaron, and giving Anna all of the relevant information and insight about Aaron and about Anna's own pipeline and workload. So analytics in the context of CRM data. And if we go to the next slide, we'll just see a very brief summary of the new product that Scott mentioned and what is the source of the analytics that I was showing you in those different examples. This is an offering called Sugar Analytics. It's powered by Cognos, so it actually uses IBM Cognos' leading business intelligence technology, but it's delivered in a way that's integrated with Sugar. So the first point is that it's integrated within the Sugar user interface. It's provided as a specific dashlet within Sugar, and it's also provided in the context of the Sugar user. So it provides single sign-on between Sugar and the Cognos system. It maintains security settings where a Sugar user who has access to a certain amount of data and not others in Cognos will also only be able to see that certain amount of data and not others. And also, it provides an integration between the Sugar, context. If you're looking at a specific bank record in Sugar, then when you go to look at your analytics, those analytics will be in the context of that bank account or that particular customer. We're very excited that we're able to use market-leading technology. This offering uses IBM Cognos Business Intelligence under the covers. It really bundles Cognos along with some of these Sugar integrations, but the core reporting and analytic capability is provided by Cognos, and for those of you that don't know Cognos, that's a market-leading business intelligence and analytics offering. So some very powerful capabilities that we can include with Sugar. And lastly, this offering extends Sugar. Some of you that have used Sugar before or are existing Sugar customers, you'll know that Sugar has its own out-of-the-box reporting. That will continue to be offered with Sugar, providing basic reporting capabilities for those customers that only need the basic reporting capabilities. But Sugar Analytics goes above and beyond that built-in Sugar reporting and provides more advanced analytics over and above what Sugar reporting is designed to do. And two of the most common examples of things that Sugar Analytics does very well are highlighted in the picture on the left-hand side. And those two things are drill down, so being able to click into a pie chart, for example, and see a detailed list behind that and click even further. So for example, a lot of people will use Sugar Analytics to drill from, say, a country view to a state view to a county view to a city view. That's an example of complex drill down that might even be more than one level. And the second thing that's highlighted in the picture on the left is trending. So the ability to compare a previous time period to the current time period. Compare last quarter's revenue, for example, to this quarter's revenue. Compare historical trends of data over the last period, the last number of years or months or quarters. So those are all good examples of how Sugar Analytics is really optimized for those advanced analytics scenarios over and above Sugar reporting. So I've shown you quite a few slides, but let's switch over, and if we can switch to my screen, I'll show you an example of some of the interactive capabilities that Cognos or Sugar Analytics, powered by Cognos, provides. So this is our Sugar screen. If we log in as a sales rep, we've configured this sales rep's home screen so that he has a number of dashlets that are actually Cognos reports embedded directly in Sugar. So all three of these windows or dashlets that you see here, an activity report on the left, a revenue report in the middle, and an opportunity report on the right-hand side, those are all examples of Cognos reports that have been embedded directly in the Sugar user interface. And in this case, you can do some of these things that I described as far as comparing different time periods. This shows an interactive display where you can drill down between comparing years, quarters, or months. And you can obviously change the date range, and you'll see the report, or in this case the graph, change correspondingly. Similarly, if we're looking at revenue progression, we can see a report of and forecast revenue compared over different periods of time. And if we wanted to drill in and see the detail behind any one of those data points, we could click on that data point and see a tabular list view of all of the revenue by opportunity that data point represents. So this particular view is the data point behind the April 2013 opportunity number, showing the forecast opportunity amounts for each of those opportunities. Similarly, on the right-hand side here, we've got an opportunity report where we've taken the company average age by sales stage and used that as the dividing line. So this is a particular rep's opportunity pipeline, and we're able to show that for, let's say, a given sales stage, so proposal submitted, this rep has 47 opportunities in that proposal submitted stage that are older in terms of age of opportunity than the average deal age of the company. The average deal age of the company is 120 days for this sales stage. This particular rep has, this number of opportunities that are older than 120 days, some of them significantly older. So again, this is providing insight to that rep, because then he knows that out of those old opportunities, potentially those are ones that he needs to pay particular attention to. So that's just a quick view of some of the capabilities of Sugar Analytics, again, embedded directly in Sugar, but powered by Cognos. So if we can go back now to the slides, I'll just quickly wrap up a little bit of what we saw. To go back to our storyline, we were showing insight delivered in context to the CRM system, delivered through integrated analytics. Specifically, that meant that Scott, our CMO of Squeaky Green Clean, could perform additional drill-down analytics on customer demographics based on age, and he used Sugar Analytics to help him do that. Then, using the power of Sugar, the new leads that he created were driven to Anna's desktop, Anna being the sales rep, and Anna was able to receive specific, in-context, actionable information. Not only did she get the alert about the lead, but she was able to get additional analytics about that particular lead, as well as additional analytics about her own pipeline and workload, so that she could help plan her own workload and her own activity. And all of this then delivered an exceptional customer experience for our branch manager, Aaron. Aaron got a call from Anna, and Anna's information was specifically tailored to Aaron, so that helped Anna deliver exceptional customer service and an exceptional customer experience for Aaron. So with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Scott Tabak, the real Scott from Highland Solutions, and Scott will wrap up some of the points that we've talked about.
Thank you, Lawrence, and thank you, Ginger. Wow, those are excellent examples of Sales 2.0 technologies that integrate technologies into your sales process. So you're focusing on the right prospects and customers at the right time. I guess I'm waiting for the tool that actually will be created that sells for me at the end of the day, but I'll wait for that. At any rate, to summarize the presentation today, with D&B for Sugar and Sugar Analytics, Scott and Anna were able to research and capture relevant prospect information to grow their territory. Scott was able to pull that information into a contact list to support marketing campaign efforts. A new lead alert was sent to Anna, triggering a response. And as Anna prepared for her call with Aaron, she was able to see a 360-degree view of the customer, including past account interactions, company news, and relevant analytics, such as the ones that we touched upon today. So with that, I'd like to open it up for questions, or excuse me, let me take that back. Let me pass it back to Stephanie, who is going to conduct our last poll.
Thank you, Scott. So one more quick poll question. Choose the information goal that best aligns with your business initiatives. And you should see some answers flashing up on your screen. So please choose from the answers displayed on your screen. And we'll give everyone a minute or two. Just another 30 seconds to place your answer. Excellent. Thank you. And now back to Scott for the Q&A.
Thanks, Stephanie. So yeah, we'll take a couple questions here to end today's presentation, and I'm going to start out with a question for Lawrence. First question, what if I already have Cognos?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that has come up a number of times. So the answer is, if you already have Cognos, you have the opportunity to leverage that existing investment and skill and integrate it into your CRM system. We actually have a version of our offering that is just the connector between Cognos and Sugar, so it doesn't include the licenses to Cognos, which in this case you would already have. And that connector provides things like the user interface integration that I mentioned, showing Cognos as dashlets within Sugar. It also provides the administration, single sign-on, and security integrations between Cognos and Sugar. So we have something called a Sugar connector for Cognos that is designed specifically for those customers that already have Cognos and allows them to leverage that existing skill and investment within their CRM system.
Thank you. Next question is for Ginger around D&B. Once the new prospect or lead information from D&B is brought into Sugar, you mentioned that it is kept updated. How does that work?
So, Scott, I'm going to defer. I have a colleague on this call, and I'm going to let my colleague, Murray Kiefer, answer that question. Go ahead, Murray.
Happy to answer. The information, every time you go into that account within Sugar, there's a refresh check that is done against the D&B database. So if the information has changed, you get a flag that says it's out of date, and as Ginger was showing in the demo, you would be able to click on a update button and import the new information to keep it up to date. When you do that, it also gives you a comparison of the existing data to the new data.
Great, thank you, Murray. And then just to follow that question up, how does D&B actually collect that information?
That is a very good question, and I like to say magic, but it's actually a very rigorous process. It's actually a patented process that D&B uses. It's called the Dunn's process. We collect data from over 30,000 authoritative sources, and the Dunn's process is how we combine and coordinate that information to ensure that it is the most accurate and most up-to-date that it can be. So that starts with information coming from federal, state, and local reporting, business startups, things like that. And it goes to information trading partners that D&B has globally. And like I say, it's over 30,000 authoritative sources.
Thank you, Murray. The next question is for Lawrence around business analytics. What platforms currently can you run Sugar Analytics on?
Sugar Analytics basically supports Sugar on Demand. Let me start that over again. It does not support Sugar on Demand, so it only supports Sugar on premise, but it runs with both Sugar 6 and Sugar 7. So that is 99% of Sugar customers in terms of the versions of Sugar. So once again, Sugar Analytics runs on Sugar on premise with Sugar 6 and Sugar 7 from a version point of view using the LAMP stack, so Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP.
Great, thank you, Lawrence. And I'm going to give myself a softball question here. How do I request a one-on-one demo of Sugar integrated with both D&B and Cognos? And that leads me to the last slide here. You can connect directly with me at the email address, as you see, scott@highlandsolutions.com, or you can reach out to Ginger or Lawrence as well, and we'd be happy to set that up for you. You can also visit our website at highlandsolutions.com to learn a little bit more about what we do and enable for clients. and we'd be happy to talk to you more about these two topics, or any topic for that matter. So with that, I'd like to, again, thank you all for attending